Hello and welcome to The Hill is Always Greener, where the show is made up and the points don't matter. And we have 4 to 5 friends hanging out and having chill discussions about Sonic the Hedgehog to distract themselves from the inevitable passage of time and their own rapidly waning ability to relate to the youth, but not the ability to come up with stuff on the spot. I am Rock the Jake.
I'm Cyberlink, and I'm writing a story about how Sonic is best friends with Hatsune Miku. Oh, wait, I can't do that anymore.
I'm Game Buddy, and I've been here the whole time.
And I'm Valero, or am I? Maybe I'm my evil twin with amnesia.
Blolero.
And I'm LittleKuriboh. Strange, isn't it?
Whoa!
Whoa.
Crazy. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Oh, now we need to write a check to Master Nakamura again.
No, we can send him to Australia. That'll keep him distracted for a few months at least.
For varying reasons, the Sonic the Hedgehog soundtrack has never been bad, even when it's been really bad.
I'd 100% agree, actually.
Yeah.
All Sonic games
honestly.
have great music, except for the ones that don't, but even when they don't, they're still good.
I remember playing Sonic Adventure on my Dreamcast because my friend Ashok made fun of me if I'm buying a Dreamcast because he was like, "Why did you do that? It's nothing on it." And I was like, "Guess what? Sonic Adventure's on it." And he was watching me fight. Is it Chaos at the end? He's like a big water guy. And it's playing, Can't Hold Out Much Longer. And unironically, one of the best gaming moments of my life. I remember Ashok sat next to me being like, "Man, they must have felt really embarrassed that this song is playing the whole time." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? This is the best part of the fucking game."
It's the name of the song. You gotta open your heart to it, okay?
Yeah, it's gonna be all right.
like Jeremy and I have seen those guys live. We're in it deep. You're not gonna, none of us are gonna disagree with you there.
It works. It works so well. They commit to it.
Yes,
exactly.
Absolutely.
Of course Martin's a fan of that. It's butt rock.
I know about Rock the Jake, but Rock the Butt?
Aw.
Adding that as the title.
Man, I think that's the fastest we've ever gotten the title of the show.
It's definitely up there.
Yeah.
As opposed to the butt, which is down there.
I'm just honored that the LittleKuriboh used my name in a butt joke.
Highest honor.
Beautiful.
So yeah, thank you so much, Martin, for being on this episode. It is an absolute joy.
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely. The feeling is 100% mutual. I loved Sonic as a kid, and it's interesting because I do feel like Sonic the Hedgehog is synonymous with my childhood in a lot of ways, just because I don't really play those games as an adult, and they've kind of been preserved immaculately in my childhood memories as these perfect games. That I'm sure if I went back and played, I wouldn't have the same experience, but I remember that experience so fondly, probably more so than a lot of other video games generally, even like Mario. I love Mario, but Sonic was cool. Mario was fun. And that's great. Both of them are ideal. But, getting the opportunity to come on here and talk to you guys as well about Sonic is a great a privilege and an honor because, frankly, I think you guys are, some of the best examples of fans of this material that I have ever met. And I'm not saying that to denigrate anybody. I'm saying that because you guys clearly give a shit and you have a healthy relationship with it.
We will denigrate other fans.
Luke did last week. But
I mean, not to be overly earnest, but I mean, I think that's one of the only reasons this show came about is we weren't just a bunch of older fans like, man, we got to have somewhere to talk about Sonic, is that we from the beginning wanted to say like, hey, we're all friends. What would be a great thing to get us to not only meet and talk regularly and hang out more, but like, man, we don't need to talk about all of the stuff in Sonic that annoys us. Let's try and stick to the stuff that we actually think is really freaking cool. And like, I feel like we've been able to do that while still talking about like, I don't know, hot button issues. It's just so much easier than trying to have a discussion on social media, just because that is so designed to favor the hot takes. So, man, I really appreciate that. That's super cool. I'm not gonna cry until we're done recording.
Yeah. And like, even when we engage with the stuff that we don't like, I feel like we at least are good about, trying to look at it from an honest perspective, and also maybe just kind of have some fun, laughing with it instead of at it.
Yeah.
See any instance we bring up Sonic Underground.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh no, I'm a running joke.
But you see, even then,
man.
the music, Sonic Underground.
Yes.
It's great.
It's got that one good song.
That comes
What's
up
their
every
band?
Oh,
time.
now you're engaging with me in a place of emotional maturity.
Does their band have a name in that show? Because they're in a band, right?
Yeah,
They are in a band.
Well,
They-
they're called the Sonic Underground collectively. I'm not sure if that's the band name as well. It might be.
So it's like a Velvet
It's-
Underground reference.
Probably.
Could
Maybe.
be.
The Royalists.
Oh, boo.
I mean, they are. Sometimes I forget. Yeah, they are a royal family, so I can't enjoy them by principle.
Emphasis on the prince.
Very nice.
But Sonic and friendship go together hand in hand throughout my life, I think, frankly. But, I have very fond memories of staying up late playing the Master System version of Sonic the Hedgehog 2, where collecting all the Chaos Emeralds was the hardest thing we'd ever done in our lives at that time. And I've had, very specific experiences with Sonic 1 and Sonic 2. Sonic 3, I played and I really, really liked. I don't have as vivid a memory of it just because I feel like at that point, Sonic, I don't want to say it had become oversaturated or, that I had grown bored with it, but the magical part of Sonic for me was meeting him and then meeting Tails, and even the Knuckles stuff was really exciting. So Sonic 3 had that going for it. But that initial moment of sort of being introduced to that world, and for me specifically, picking up Sonic the comic at my local newsagents, when that to me, even though I had one or two real life friends to play the games with and talk about, it really meant something to me as far as friendship goes, that I made friends with those characters by reading that comic. It's really a strange, specific experience to anyone who grew up with that comic, I think, to have gone from this version of Sonic, who has kind of an attitude, like they say in a lot of the references to him. He feels like he has an attitude in that comic. And then to watch on the Big Breakfast on Channel 4 at like 8 a.m, The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, where he talks and behaves entirely differently.
Yeah.
And I had to sort of realize at that point in my life, there's multiple interpretations of what this character is, but I'm friends with this guy. I don't know if I'm friends with that guy. So for me, like, it's kind of, there is a very specific idea of who Sonic is and how I met him. And as the franchise progressed, even when it came to like Sonic 3, I realized, I don't know if that's the guy that I like,
Interesting.
I don't know. It's not like I disliked those games as a result. I just was like, are you the same guy from the comic that I'm reading?
That is interesting, because Sonic 3 is kind of like a lot of people's favorite part of the people who grew up during that era are like, Sonic 3 is the best one, and that's where the comic was especially good. But yeah, I guess you could start seeing like, Sonic's starting to change now already.
Yeah, and I'm sure it was just for me, honestly.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody kind of has a similar moment, not even just with Sonic, but with other stuff. Like for me, I think I first learned that lesson with Batman, because I was watching, the old Super Friends cartoons, and then the movies, and then the 90s animated series. And it's like, that was kind of where my brain put together that, there can be multiple versions of this same concept, and that's okay.
Well, when I was a kid, I didn't think it was okay.
No, that's the thing. Yeah, you're like, no, it's not
Touché.
the thing I like anymore.
I think I was right there with you, Martin, when because I totally see where that could happen in the games. I mean, I don't know if it was a factor, but I mean, Sonic 3 is where they redesigned the Sonic sprite to be a little bit different. Like, oh, he's looking a little harder in this one. But I think the most I dealt with that as also a young Sonic fan was, and I think I just talked about this, the Archie Sonic comics, because those were not only not much like the games at all, they also eventually got to where they weren't like the other Sonic cartoon, the Saturday morning cartoon with the American version of the Freedom Fighters and Sally Acorn and whatnot. And I do remember having that feeling of a child, like, not being willing to tell myself, oh, these comics are bad, but just like, well, these sure are different from what I used to really like about Sonic when I was just a few years younger, but it's Sonic, so I have to keep reading them. But and then I got on the internet, and there definitely were some like early growing pains of like, oh wait, I'm learning what the word continuity means.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is shaking up my whole Sonic belief system.
Yeah, as a kid, you kind of have to rewire your brain to accept those sort of things. Like the Disney sequels, I would often find myself watching and being like, this doesn't feel as good or even in line with what the movie I liked was, but this is the next part of the story, so I have to accept that this is a thing.
Yeah.
I have to accept that the genie is voiced by Dan Castellan now. It's just fine, I guess.
Bring back Lou Albano as Mario.
You go to hell before you die.
I know. Well, even as a kid, those other, I mean, same thing, like those other Mario cartoons, none of them I would call are very good, but I was a little kid, like whatever channel it came on, my mom would try and like record just a whole block, and it would go from Super Show to Mario 3 or Mario World, and I'm like, oh, this is different.
Super Mario.
Yeah. I'm like, well, I like Yoshi. I don't like Oogtar. Get him out of here.
The prehistoric Chris Thorndike.
Yeah.
I remember, I think some of my earliest memories of feeling cringe, like feeling secondhand embarrassment, was watching the Super Mario cartoons. And they would have these moments in those shows where for a little bit there's like a singing montage where they're singing like an old song, but it's like the characters' voices and they sound terrible.
God, I forgot about that. I think they cut those out of the re-releases.
I had a couple of recordings of, God, like, was it Rockin' the High School, and the one where the piranha plant comes out and tries to eat all the kids at the school? And
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
I do remember in Super Show, like, seeing a clip of, like, where Lou Albano's like, yeah, Koopa, I'm bad! And then you hear, like, a bad cover of Bad.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
The famous Milli Vanilli episode of Mario.
Oh, my God.
That's the one I always think of.
Now, that fit the princess has does go hard. The crop top and the big 80s sunglasses.
Yeah, why is that not a costume in Smash Brothers?
I think my earliest memory of Sonic the Hedgehog generally, well, actually, my first specific memory of seeing him was this commercial campaign for Sega where this guy goes to a barber and he sits down. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. He sits down and he asks for the cyber razor cut. And that's like this specific haircut from this crazy Sega barber shop, I guess. And the barber goes, cyber razor cut. And then he turns to the camera and goes, yeah, or something like that. And then it just shows a big montage of Sega games. And at one point, I think Sonic appears.
Give me the cyber razor cut.
A cyber razor cut.
There are over 100 Mega Drive games. They get faster, they get harder. What are you going to do to keep up?
Next.
Give me the works.
To be this good takes saying.
And then they did a version of this commercial where it was like a ninja trying to get the drop on this guy who got the cyber razor cut. And he like foils the ninja's plan by putting a trampoline down so that when the ninja bursts in, he lands on the trampoline like one of the jump pads in Sonic, and he flies into the air. and you see it intercut with footage of Sonic jumping on the bounce pads. And I remember very, very vividly thinking, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. Blue Hedgehog jumping real high.
Yeah, folks, listening audience, the UK-specific advertising campaigns for Sega during the 90s were very different to what was even going on in America. Just as much in your face, but in a different way. It's fascinating to look back on.
I feel like we should have like a special short episode of just like the two of you and then like the two from Sonic the Comic the podcast just talking about like British adverts of Sonic throughout the years.
They were the highlight of the commercial breaks for me, was when they would do Sega TV. And then when they started doing a Sega TV story in the Sonic the Comic, I was like over the moon. I was like, these fucking weirdos from the adverts are going to be characters in this comic that I love? Hell yeah.
Yeah, the Pirate STC strips, that's right.
Yeah, and that came out and it was fucking weird.
Very. I know I keep saying I have a vivid memory, but I have another vivid memory. So many associated with Sonic and the comic. But I remember showing my sister a page from that specific section of the comic where a dog like jumps on a woman's face and says sausages.
I was just thinking of that, actually, the advert.
And I explained it to my sister out loud, and my gran was in the room, and my gran looks at me describing this particular page of a dog latching itself onto a woman's face, and she like gives the most disapproving shake of her head that has stuck with me my whole life. It's like shook me to my core that I never should have described the Sonic page.
And that's why we are the way we are today.
I do blame Sonic, yeah.
I blame Sonic for a lot of things.
I mean, legit, I've had a good time just listening to these stories about Martin's lifelong story of Sonic.
Yeah, let's just throw out the format and just talk about that now. We should actually do the thing we came here for.
Let's just hang out. But yeah, today we are doing another fanfic episode.
Oh, these bring me such joy.
They do,
every
man.
single time.
I've had so much fun on the past two that we've done, and so yeah, we're gonna do another fanfic episode. And I love the fact that we've had Marin on here, and now we're gonna have Martin on here, and it's just these always get so goofy and silly, and I just can't wait for that to happen. But we gotta let it happen organically, like we're actually trying to write a story.
Why don't we like fill in the audience as to what the hell we're doing again, just for the people who weren't here last time?
Yeah. So for these episodes, I'll just read straight from the outline. We initially roll two characters and a setting to kick things off, and we begin explaining a story in as little or as much detail as we choose to, usually to the help or the hindrance of the next person after us. And when 5 minutes has passed, or about 5 minutes, however long it feels like that part of the story needs to go, we move on to the next person in an arbitrary rotation, usually by the way that we introduce ourselves at the top of the show. We do have three little we like to call them cards that we can use. One is change, one is it's on you, and one is put this in. Change means that the current storyteller has to use a random prompt. It's on you means picking another storyteller to take over for 3 minutes, and then put this in means you can take a specific prompt and incorporate it in, and either the person telling the story or somebody else can use put this in for that person. Again, usually either to the help or the hindrance, because that's happened a few times. You don't have to use them for the whole time, but it's usually a fun little shake-up for this fanfic episode. And the story ends...
sometimes needs to be used to desperately bail us out of a situation we did not ask for.
Still a little bit salty that we never incorporated the American Revolution into the first episode.
It's for the best.
But to be fair, when I came up with that particular prompt, I was watching a lot of Hamilton at the time, so
Touché.
But yeah, the story ends when we feel like we've come to a good conclusion, and then we'll try to give a summary at the end of the episode.
And that's the whole thing.
I'm sure this will be very sensible and easy to follow and will not end in absolute chaos of the highest order.
I hope it does.
Mostly I'm excited to hear various Sonic characters that I'm not familiar with, because then it'll be like simulating what it's like listening to me talk about Kamen Rider for other people.
I think you will know most of these characters.
Actually,
Good.
Kamen the Rider is in here.
I mean, technically speaking, there's a Rider character in one of the IDW comics. they're technically in this list.
There is a non-zero chance that, depending on what comes up, there may be a common writer by the end of our story. We'll see.
So I guess since I started off the episode, I can generate the characters in the setting.
So we're going to roll a random number to pick our setting and our first two characters.
Okay, so I've got the number generator up, and first number is 44, which is the Tails doll. Okay.
All right.
Now the Tails doll, Martin, is a character specifically from Sonic R. Who's a bit weird.
And in the comics, he goes slurp, slurp, slurp.
Yeah, that's an important distinction.
Okay.
Okay, so our first character is the Tails doll. Our second one is 35, which is Wave, one of the Babylon rogues.
Oh man, what a
okay!
what
So
an
just
odd
two characters
couple.
Martin probably doesn't know right off the bat. So there we go. From the Sonic Riders games, a bird.
Okay, a bird.
A purple
Gotcha.
bird at that. All right, so for the settings, I got number 25, which is a wild card. So
Okay.
Which means you can pick whatever setting you want.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
I was going to pick the American Revolution.
Let's see. Okay, so trying to think of a good scenario for freaking Wave and Tails doll. Well, I think since we have a wild card, I think this is actually a unique opportunity where all of us can contribute to picking a setting so that it's not all on me.
Okay, well, the first thing that popped into my head, I'll just be honest, was some kind of like, I don't know, like technology conference. Like not like a science fair, but like I forget what they used to call it. Didn't Disney used to, like the World's Fair or something like that?
Yeah.
Like an expo.
You know. Yeah, an expo even, like, the inventors from around the world, like, come and display their newest inventions. Like, maybe even Dr. Eggman goes, but, like, treats it very seriously. Like, I'm not here to take over. I'm here to show off my latest stuff and how much better it is than everyone else's.
That or he's in disguise because he knows he'll get arrested otherwise.
Yes, he's there to steal ideas.
He's in disguise and taking advantage of his fame as El Gran Gordo to pivot into technology.
Now, El Gran Gordo is Dr. Eggman's pro wrestling persona from the Sonic X comics specifically.
This is a real thing.
Yes, there he was about to fight Andre the Giant.
No, Andy's the ginormous. You have to be very specific.
Yes, pardon.
Why was he doing this?
He was bored.
Okay.
Basically, he decided to get into pro wrestling to make money to fund his operations, and then he found out.
If you're gonna do any job to make money, pro wrestling, definitely.
But the twist is he suddenly realized, I actually like pro wrestling more than being a villain, so I'm just going to quit being evil and do this full time. And it only stopped because he had to stop some other thing.
It makes perfect sense.
One of the plot points is Sonic immediately knows it's Eggman, also thinks wrestling is fake, and other characters are trying to say, Sonic, don't be a jerk. Chris Thorndike is very into this and believes all of it,
What
so
a
don't
mark.
make him sad. Yes, he literally
he's a
is.
huge mark.
That's great.
It also gave us the best panel of all time. Just
Oh, yeah.
Sad Chris Thorndike as
Oh my
El Gran
god.
Gordo's about to tap.
So is this comic secretly amazing?
It's pretty good.
At times.
Yes, we covered all of the El Gran Gordo because he does go away for a while and then comes back. So
and convinces Sonic to be his sidekick El Rapido Azul.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be real with you. You've got to sift through to get to the Ian Flynn, Tracy Yardley stuff to get the good Sonic X. And this is, of course, at least partially one of them.
So this professional wrestler Robotnik is in disguise. Well, he is playing this professional wrestler at this invention expo.
Yes.
I like that idea too.
If he goes there as Dr. Eggman, it's just going to invite trouble. So he's like, nobody knows I'm El Gran Gordo, so I'll go there and, claim that I'm, branching out into other industries. Maybe the Tails doll is what he's presenting at the expo.
I've invented this fox.
Yeah, maybe he could be marketing the Tails doll as like, oh, maybe his own version of like a digital assistant. People just start. Gosh, I was just talking to someone the other day about how creepy and kind of sad it is. Oh, it's when, kids like, my kid ordered, 40 tons of candy off of Amazon. I'm like, yeah, well, you treated Alexa like it was a member of the family and confused your 4-year-old. So maybe it's something like that. Like, oh, the little Tails doll, don't be fooled by his appearance. He can, do your shopping, your taxes. Just don't ask him to generate any photos. I'm not fucking with that shit. I may be evil, but I'm not unethical.
Ethics are relative.
Yeah.
And the swallow, what was her name? Wave?
Wave.
Wave.
What's her deal? Why is she there?
I would think that Wave's big thing is she created the jet skateboards that the characters use in those games. The upcoming Sonic racing game has them back, and she's always very proud of her creations, to where like when Tails makes his own version for Sonic, she just straight up walks up to this child and says like, your tech is shit, little boy.
And then straps a bomb to the bottom of it to sabotage it.
Oh yeah, she did do that too. Forgot about that. So she is now she can back up her talk. Like, her inventions are great, but she is very self-confident and curt, and like I said, just kind of a mean girl. So she could be there presenting, or I mean, I think she would probably be there presenting like her latest version of the extreme gear and maybe looking for licensing deals. Tony the Hawk is looking to for a new brand.
So I think the only issue we have so far is that we have something solid for Wave, but for Tails doll, we're more so putting something on Eggman, and Tails doll is just kind of a thing.
I mean, Tails doll, I feel like there's stuff to build off of for Tails doll just by virtue of him being there.
Yeah,
that's kind of the thing. Is Tails doll is a character, but also isn't, because there's a lot of passiveness going on with that character just by being. It's just kind of there a lot of the time.
It's a force of nature.
Yeah.
I think that the character for Tails doll will slowly come out as the story develops.
Yeah.
You saying Schlorp isn't enough dialogue?
There are a lot of ways that you can use Schlorp.
Depends on what kind of comic you're reading.
Oh yeah, and we're sticking with the in disguise as El Gran Gordo.
Yes.
Yes, because I think it's funny.
All right, I'm down with it.
Okay, we have I think we've just about set it up now.
Okay.
So who's going? Like, so what happens? Is Jake first, right?
I have to roll for a trope or an event to help kick things off. Prompt 30, which is inappropriate analog / recreation of a real world tragic event.
Oh no!
Oh man.
Okay, Jake. Well, good luck.
Does the gradual takeover of AI over all aspects of our life count as a tragic event?
That could work, actually, especially with Tails all there.
And by its very existence, it's inappropriate. So
yes.
Actually, the whole AI thing, I kind of like that, because that's like, not only is it the starting thing for us to come up with something, but it also can kind of guide the story along the whole way. So I'm okay with that if y'all are.
Forget what I said about Eggman being ethical. I mean, he might actually do that. He's there not only to steal ideas from the convention, but maybe all the stuff he's feeding Tails doll is just stuff that already exists. And so Tails doll spits it back out as, AI slop. Like
AI Schlorp.
Yeah, AI slurp.
And after all, if there's anybody who nobody would bat an eye at promoting something highly unethical and technology based, it's professional wrestlers.
So here we go. We open up on a bright sunny day at the Station Square Electronic Expo. Wave, we see Wave is finishing setting up her table with a very good looking, very original looking display of her brand new writer, which she is touting as more energy efficient, more eco-friendly, and 25% faster than any others on the market right now. Further down the line, we see El Gran Gordo with an even bigger booth and display, just because the man's got more money, and that's how it works.
And corporate sponsorships.
And corporate sponsorships, especially. And he is showing off the Tails doll, and he's touting it as like, the great hero, and he retches a little bit in his throat when he says that, Tails the fox. Well, now we've created a soft, plush, cute version of that hero, but he's not just a
marketable
doll.
plushie, if you will.
But he's not just a plush doll. Oh no, he's also an AI assistant. He can help you with your grocery list. He can help you mark things down on your calendar. And for those of you who are, let's say, creatively inhibited, he can also help you come up with different artworks, such as pictures and music. All you have to do is ask him. For instance, Tails doll, can you come up with a beautiful image of the Mona Lisa wearing sunglasses and doing a tap dance? And then Tails doll, through the jewel on its head, posts a hologram for a few seconds that shows the terrible, glossy, ugly picture with several fingers.
Oh, man. Tap dancing, but she has like 4 or 5 extra feet.
Yep, like an octopus. Mona the octopus.
Hey, there you go.
TM, trademark for future use.
And the crowd around El Gran Gordo and the Tails doll just claps and claps and claps, super happy about it. Wave happens to catch a little bit of it from down the line where she is and just kind of grunts in disgust. And I'm going to pass this off to the next person now.
Okay, that's fair.
I was going to say, I feel like it's one of those situations where everybody is crowded around this AI schlorp device.
Yes.
And meanwhile, Wave is just sitting there with nobody in front of her booth, getting increasingly pissed.
I like to think that Wave is proud of what she's done. Like, she cares that it's more environmentally friendly, but also at the same time, she is just like, and I did that because I'm so great. How was I able to make it even better? Because I did it. I'm Wave. And she has like little infographics and maybe screens and interactive pads, like, and here's how I did it. So this is just eating her up inside.
Another reason that she doesn't have a crowd is that people heard about that whole strapping a bomb to a child incident. So.
Yes. That was on TV. We saw it. Oh, come on.
It was on TV.
Nobody got hurt.
In fact, that's why the Tails bot is there, is to remind everybody what an awful thing.
That's great. Why else would Eggman bring a copy of one of his most, Sonic is his most hated enemy, but Eggman also resents Tails because he is, or he possibly could be smarter than him.
And El Gran Gordo's like saying, I think this Tails is going to blow up, and yells it right over to
And it's got to be like the Chaos Cola presents the El Gran Gordo technology booth, Lots of ads for, would it still be called DraftKings, but you bet on chow races? Just the worst sponsors, gambling, and it's technically legal.
Sponsored by Breezy's Casino.
Yeah.
Oh, yep, there you go.
All right, so I'm going to roll for our next trope.
I love this already.
8. That is reference an early 2000s Toonami show.
I feel like we get this one a lot, but I'm not mad about it.
Oh, man.
This happened once when we were talking about fan games. now it's a part of this game whether we like it or not.
Yes, specifically on there because of the Tenchi Muyo Sonic crossover game.
Oh, yeah.
Hold up. Tenchi Muyo and Sonic?
I was going to say, they made a lot of weird Tenchi Muyo references in like Archie back in the day as well.
Oh, they did, yeah.
That's right. Straight up like Mihoshi and a few characters as Anna Furries, right, in the background shot.
Yep. Some of them fawning over Prince Elias.
Wave is pissed that this hovercraft that she is promoting, which happens to look a little similar to a certain Magic Cloud from a certain early 2000s Toonami show, is not getting people's attention. And I think that she considers, if nobody's going to try actually standing on this thing, I don't know, maybe they're not pure of heart or whatever, I'm going to use it to try and sabotage El Gran Gordo's exhibit by trying to see if, I imagine it's actually close enough to a real cloud that she might try to use it to disrupt whatever system is affecting, built into Tails.
The cloud.
Yeah, the cloud.
Yeah, it is literally going to disrupt the cloud. And I think that she might remotely pilot it over towards El Gran Gordo's booth to try and get it to affect Tails doll, and that whatever proximity it has there does actually start disrupting Tails doll's systems a little bit and causing some sort of glitch that perhaps can be elaborated upon depending on what the next prompt is.
Let's see. So she's sending her cloud gear over to disrupt the Tails doll demonstration, and in fact, it's so cloud-like it might actually be able to affect it. Okay. All right. I'm gonna roll for a event. I'm gonna roll my number. Okay, I got 33, which is Jesus.
Why are we getting
Oh my goodness.
The writer's barely disguised fetish. Okay,
a staple of fanfics dating back to...
I'm gonna have to think long and hard about this one.
Okay, which writer are we talking about?
Yuji Naka.
Okay. Okay, I think I've got something here. Okay, so Wave has decided to send her new cloud gear, which is so cloud-like it might actually be able to generate its own weather patterns, over to this Tails doll AI assistant demonstration.
Like a real cloud.
Yes, her new cloud rider technology. So... let's see. I don't know. Does she have to control it? I'll just say there's some kind of she just kind of sends it over there and lets it do its pre-programmed thing. So the cloud gently floats over the crowd, kind of past right above their heads, and starts to settle right over Gran Gordo and the Tails doll as it continues to... people give it prompts like, what's the weather tomorrow? And generate me a picture of my family before my bitch wife took the kids and stuff like that. Just the most wonderful people that are interested in that kind of exploitive AI. Let's see, the cloud starts to gather, let's just say it starts to generate a static electricity as it starts to build up for... maybe a little storm. It wants to create the electricity to maybe block whatever sensors the Tails doll has, but in doing so, the cloud starts to grow darker and darker as a storm builds up within it. So let's say that the Tails doll does slightly start to malfunction and starts to spit out that that goofy ass error messages AI gives you, I'm really sorry. I wish I could do more for that, but I don't know much about, why your kids don't talk to you anymore. And so we cut back to Wave, and she's kind of wringing her hands, this is it. Everybody's going to see it for what a farce it is.
I like that the 8-legged Mona Lisa didn't do that.
People called it avant-garde.
Yeah. I guess Wave's logic is if she can pull the curtain back on how this generative AI is just regurgitating schlorp and isn't actually answering their questions. Which, maybe real people in the world thought once that happened with the AIs going on that people would stop being interested in it, but hasn't happened yet, unfortunately. So Wave thinks this is going good, and right as she thinks, she sees some like confused faces in the crowd. Some people are turning away. The cloud gear just erupts in a tiny miniature thunderstorm right over El Gran Gordo, and he's soaked to the bone. And unfortunately, instead of humiliating him, it just starts to make him really sexually attractive. His skin starts glistening. In fact, the temperature difference somehow, like he starts to get steam coming off his skin, and he goes, "Oh, folks, I don't know where this came from, but there, let me shed." And so he like delicately pulls down one of the arm straps on his singlet.
Oh,
you know,
it's like Betty Boop in the extended Roger Rabbit cut.
Yeah, kind of tastefully, tastefully revealing like one half of his chest. Like, oh, sorry, folks, we'll get this cleaned up. But in the meantime, and he just kind of turns around, and as he goes to grab his towel, he just makes a real meal out of walking towards it. And I mean, the crowd just starts going wild. Like hoots and hollers. Everybody comes back. I mean, the crowd might even be doubled at this point. And, we cut back to Wave, and she's flabbergasted. She doesn't get it, but the crowd does.
Tails doll generates some sensual music.
I like the idea of the guy who wanted to generate something about his bitch of an ex-wife just being like, "Yeah, Robotnik, go."
Well, that guy, I'm going to say that guy's lying to himself that he thinks he's appreciating this because El Gran Gordo is this like real alpha male, but I mean, it's probably just like some repressed feelings that if he'd got in touch with, maybe he could have saved his marriage, but I don't know who this guy is. And with that, I think my chapter has concluded.
I think a lot of people in the crowd concluded.
Yeah.
See, I just want to point out that's growth, man. Go back to the one of the last Sonic shorts I did, which was, oh no, Eggman took his shirt off, and now look where I am now.
We're like,
That's character development right there.
took his shirt off.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, El Gran Gordo, not Eggman.
Yeah, right. What was I saying?
Kayfabe.
Kayfabe. All right, Chris, you're going to follow that up?
How do I follow that up?
Hopefully with a good prompt.
Let's find out. Oh, yeah, yeah. We'll see what lands in my lap.
El Gran Gordo.
Number 18. What's number 18? Song lyrics quoted verbatim in dialogue.
Okay, Ian Flynn.
Gosh, making references.
Who does that?
No one in this call, I assure you.
So as El Gran Gordo is strutting his stuff to reach seductively over to a towel, he decides to plagiarize someone else's song as he's talking, because even though it's actually, you know what, he's speaking out loud the lyrics from Unknown from M.E., the Knuckles song from Sonic Adventure. So like, here I come, rougher than the rest of them, the best of them, tougher than leather. You can call me El Gran Gordo. I'm like, Sonic, I don't
Chortle.
order. Yeah, I'd rather flex my muscles. I'm hard as nails. And he flexes. It ain't hard to tell. I break them down whether they solid or frail. And so on and so forth, because that's all I remember from the lyrics. Because at this point, for some strange reason, this tech expo has become very sexually charged. and El Gran Gordo came in here with the intention of selling his Tails AI doll. But at the moment he realizes, no, hang on a minute. I actually really enjoy when people look at me like that. I think this is a new thing for me. So he's just really getting into it as he continues to quote songs from the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise, and recycling lyrics to his own, because that's just his thing right now, is just taking other people's content and just...
The cat was so cute, I had to shave it.
I didn't know El Gran Gordo was such a huge Hardline fan.
But we can't hold on much longer. We know it's a one-way track, and he's just and
yeah, the audience can't hold on much longer if you catch my drift.
Like sexually.
Who needs booth babes when you've got El Gran Gordo?
No. As he proceeds to clean himself off with the towel, also he's worked up a bit of a sweat from walking a few feet, and the sweat flies in the air seductively, slow motion style. And Wave is very upset by the fact that this was not the intention at all. This worked out in his favor and is making things worse. Stupid. But unfortunately, Eggman El Gran Gordo forgot about the whole purpose of him coming here was to shill this device and maybe just secretly on the inside within the working algorithms of the Tails doll, something resembling the rudimentary function of spite is starting to automatically generate within the circuitry of the Tails doll. But that doesn't matter to El Gran Gordo as he's like flexing his stuff, showing off. And unfortunately, though, one of his shareholders, his corporate sponsors, decides to come up and like walks up to him. This monkey man in a suit walks up to El Gran Gordo. And
is it Mickey the monkey?
No, hang on. He's like, El Gran Gordo, this is great and all, but you know, I'm sponsoring you at this event, and you need to talk about the new what's coming up soon. You know, he's like, yeah. Hang on. I've got stuff to. No, look, listen. I paid you so much money to come up here and do this. Me, Tony Khan, the monkey. The owner
oh my god!
Egg wrestling.
Egg wrestling.
And also he like waves his staff around angrily because it's like Monkey Khan from the Ouchie. Anyway,
who was himself a Son Goku or Sun Wukong.
Yes. And as he snorts some indiscriminate substance up his nose and gets really upset, El Gran Gordo is like, okay, we're gonna get back on track now. So the Tails doll, it's great. But have you seen these guns? And, anyway, I've just made it worse, so I'm going to hand this over to Martin now.
That's totally valid. All right, I'm ready for the gun show. Let me see. I have to roll. Let me see here. 44. Characters denigrate other video game franchises.
Imagine doing something like that.
I feel like this was one of the first prompts you guys got in the one that I was listening to the other day.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Characters denigrate other video game franchises. And so we just left El Gran Gordo off attempting to bluster his way through some promotion for the Tailsbot, which, by the way, is not being presented as the Tailsbot. It's being presented as the TAI-Lsbot. And is being promised as a product that you're going to be able to purchase in your own home starting like as soon as next week if you wish. These things are available for pre-order, but also just to straight up go into the store and pick it up. They've got ads for it everywhere. All right, I need to denigrate other video game franchises somehow. So yeah, Monkey Khan is having a bit of a strop, standing next to Eggman, who was busy flexing his pecs. And Monkey Khan at some point starts being like, this is just as bad as the time that we were trying to make Puyo Pop be a thing in the West, and you insisted that it be Mean Bean Machine instead, and that your whole gimmick and image would make it sell like hotcakes, and it didn't sell even like lukewarm cakes. And he continues snorting some illicit substance.
It's true, my cakes are very cold.
But while this is happening, Eggman is basically starting to cut a promo, like a full-on promo, about how sexy he is. He's gone into full... I'm trying to think of a sexy wrestler. It could be anybody, really.
It depends on your barely disguised fetish.
Rick Rude, that's who I'm thinking of.
I was thinking Rick Rude.
Yeah, he's going full Rick Rude, but if he had sort of a, I guess, Mexican vibe, what would the name El Gran Gordo? Occasionally he throws in a K here and there. But anyway, he is busy just promoting himself, and in order to promote himself, of course, he starts putting down all the other video game villains that aren't nearly as sexy as him. He shits on Dr. Wily. He puts down the Evil Wizard Zax from the Dizzy franchise from the Commodore 64 that nobody remembers. He dunks on everybody. He's just basically just promoting his own body instead of his own body of work. While putting down all the other video game villains that everybody knows and loves. And the Tailsbot is indeed stewing in all of this. In fact, at one point, Dr. Robotnik compares the Tailsbot's body to his own and being like, look at this slurpy little guy over here compared to the magnificent mold of muscle that I am. And even though Wave's attempts to foil this whole plan ended up blowing up in her face, not unlike the bomb that she attempted to put on Tails, it seems that Robotnik's own hubris is causing the AI to generate hatred and genuine antipathy toward Robotnik, and he feels compelled to stand up to him, I guess. And that's all I've got.
It's not too much of an exaggeration to say that Dr. Eggman and Dr. Wily, who have met before, did have kind of a messy breakup, so he probably would be still feeling sore.
Oh, maybe that's the bitch of an ex that keeps coming up.
Oh, all right. This works perfectly. 47. The bad guy gets a second form.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
This is perfect.
We're heading towards it already.
Yeah.
As Tails Doll's unethical algorithms start scraping every horrible monster and machine ever created by sentient kind.
As El Gran Gordo is blustering and just soaking in all the praise from the crowd, as we've mentioned before, the TAI Ails doll.
There you go.
The Tails doll.
Oh my God, I'm still reeling.
That's so good. So good. The Tails doll is becoming more and more jealous and spiteful of the fact that this display was supposed to be about it, and the blustering fool is taking all the credit and all the spotlight. And the Tails doll is...
Well, they love it. The audience is hollering.
Well, it's not Tails Doll's fault that he was given this tiny little shrimpy furry body, and I mean his creator could have given him a huge sexy swollen man body, but he didn't.
You look more like Turbo Tails.
Oh no. We see the red jewel on top of Tails Doll's head begin to flicker very rapidly, bright and dark illuminations on top of it. What's currently happening inside of AI Tails Doll is that it is actually using the public Wi-Fi in this expo to connect to all the different pieces of technology within here. So it's able to access schematics and code from everybody's products in here. So it's able to pick up parts of Wave's new gear. It's able to pick up a supposedly safe weapon that is only used for, home defense or something like that. It's able to...
Damn you, Professor von Schlemmer.
It's able to pick up all these different things, and as it does, it starts amalgamating all these schematics into itself to start twitching and twitching and twitching and slurping. And as it twitches, it starts to grow and grow and grow. And we eventually start to see tendrils reaching out from the Tails doll to take up any sort of carbon matter in its place to build to its body. So the very display that it's on, some of the floor material, some of the ceiling material, some of the lights, people's phones, people's different technology, it starts to grow and grow. And of course, as the tendrils come out, people start to notice, hey, something wrong is happening here. And even Gran Gordo, it takes quite a while because he's so blind to the praise that he's getting, but eventually a shadow starts to encompass him. And as he sees the lights dim around him because of the shadow, he finally turns around, and we see his mustache, even though it's already down, droop down even more. Because he's realizing that the Tails doll is growing into this eldritch beast of different things. Its feet have turned into a cheap copy, because this is AI generated, a cheap copy of Wave's gear, and it has different just weird looking weapons on it. It has several eyes. It has too many fingers. And it opens up. It finally generates a mouth for itself, and it says, and I'm going to pass this off to somebody else.
5 body swap.
Oh my goodness.
Oh no. Now, this could mean literally anything.
What if the Tails body swapped with the guy who was really upset about his ex?
You could have had all this.
Meanwhile, the guy goes home is like, slurp? Slurp?
Slurp.
Oh, honey, you're so right. I forgive you.
He never slurped with me before.
Never has a second cup of coffee at home.
I think I have a way to make this work. I'm surprised we haven't had to use any of our cards yet, but I think I have a way to make this work.
Oh, okay. So run with what you have, but I'm going to go ahead and use my put this in card, and I want you to put in prompt 14.
Prompt 4. What is prompt 4?
In addition.
Character uses a curse word. Well, it is AI. I was going to say, you said that Tails doll says something, and since it is an AI, it probably just starts spurting slurs everywhere.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
It's absolutely immediately Tony Khan over here is like, oh God, we're ruined. The oversized Eldritch Tails doll starts absorbing, literally anything get its hands on, just generally rampaging through this tech expo, causing chaos. Not that kind. And I think Wave, beyond just simple self-preservation, is like, okay, that thing just took my prototype. I am not going to stand for this. And so she starts trying to remotely hack into it and take control of it. I'm sure she's got like a laptop or something on her for like how she was been remotely directing the cloud and everything. But I think that there is so much conflicting code in what is going on that it's hard to get a lock. And as she is like frantically typing and trying to keep up with this, I think Tails doll accidentally hits like the breaker or the power station or whatever, and there's a power surge. And as she's typing this, there's like, she gets hit with an electrical surge that also affects Tails doll, and suddenly,
Uh-oh.
And Wave finds herself in the body of this horrific monster thing, while now her own body is being piloted by a slur spewing, just mindless.
Oh no!
almost turned things around in her favor.
Almost.
People in the crowd, as they're running away, start whispering like, "Hey, isn't that lady that tried to blow up that child? Whoa! What did she just say? Man, I gotta post about this.
I can forgive trying to kill children, but this.
I can forgive murder, but I draw the line at slurs.
Yeah, Station Square is a very progressive city. Let's not forget the labor relations after the railroad strike in Sonic Adventure.
It's true.
Oh my god.
So now Wave finds herself inside this giant creature and has to deal with the dual problem of everybody thinks that it's like a triple problem of everybody thinks that she's a monster and is trying to kill her. or running from her, one of the two. Everybody, like, she needs to shut this thing down so she can get her prototype back. And also, there is a mindless AI inside her body making her just look absolutely horrible to everybody around her. And that's a problem that needs to be solved.
I'm just picturing like the Interrobang comic square symbols just surrounding her like a swarm of bees.
Oh, yeah, no. Tails doll in Wave's body has gone full Cubert.
It has occurred to me after the fact that the video game I could have denigrated was the AEW video game, and Falero set me up perfectly for it.
Oh,
that's true.
We'll lay that one on Monkey Khan's feed as well.
What kind of animal is Kenny Omega in the Sonic world?
What kind of animal is Sephiroth? Because he would probably be whatever that is.
Well, I mean, he was just in that Street Fighter trailer that just came out.
He looked great.
When we're recording this.
Let's see, 15. Oh, come on. The author makes up new and exciting fictional slurs and or curse words. Well, I can't say it's not inappropriate.
In story context.
Jeez.
Mobian.
I mean, if you don't, you can change it if that one's too difficult to work with.
Yeah, let me use
You can't say the word Mobian anymore.
Let me use my change it and roll one more time. See if it's any better.
Kenny Omega would be E123 Omega.
Oh, snap. Okay.
Oh my gosh, number 6, Truth or Dare. I have
Why
no
does this one
idea.
keep coming up in every single one of these we've done?
I think I might stick with 15, just because it's actually pretty easy with the scenario we've had, and I can just move on to what I've got. Okay. So we enter the mind of Wave, who is realizing that she is in this this weird bio-organic, also plush doll, giant mutated body, and immediately is confused, doesn't know how to move it, how to move around. She still seems to, in this body, be absorbing everything around it, whether it's technology or we want to go real Dutch. She may be absorbing some of the people running around. Are they dead? We'll see. Maybe it'll all work out in the end.
We saw their parachutes.
But yes.
Reference an early 2000s Toonami series.
Yeah, there you go. Don't worry, sir. But she also starts with her genius organic brain. She starts to interface with the programming that is controlling this body. And, oh boy, we already said it's a mess. In fact, there might even be some scenario where Eggman, using his El Gran Gordo persona, but also I just want to say that Monkey Khan knows Gordo is Eggman, but he also knows that he's not going to take, his company's not going to take the PR hit working with the guy that wants to take over the whole planet. So yeah, they decided on the Gordo personality as the spokesperson, but Eggman is the one that did the most of the heavy lifting on this Tails AI doll project. And you know what? He basically took all that money, embezzled it into his own Eggman Industries, and just vibe coded this whole thing. So it is a mess. Wave can understand some of the systems, but she's just like, that's not how those should be hooked up. And it's no wonder this thing, a static storm from my little crowd interfered with it so much. So what she does in the body of this thing is she tries to quiet her mind and slowly starts repairing and fixing and putting, just rewriting the code to ditch all the generative AI garbage and getting rid of all these large language models that it's stolen, and instead focusing on making this giant monster obey her movement commands. Meanwhile, we zip back out and the convention center is in chaos. again, not that kind. People are running around. Some intrepid, foolish scientists and inventors who think this could be their moment to show what a hero they are at the likes of Tails are running forward with their creations. So there's a mole man who might be from a European country. So let's just call him Hans, and he's running forward with this. With what looks like a little laser rifle, and he points it. He stops maybe about 10 feet from the Tails doll monster, and opens fire. And instead it fires let's say a hard light projectile. So not unlike, like a laser beam, but something that will actually make an impact. And it bounces right off of the Tails doll and hits this inventor right in his crotch, and he falls over. And, gosh, what does he say? He says...
something new and exciting.
Yes, he says, "Oh, Kerplutz," which in his home
Kerplutz.
island is like the worst curse you could say. And
I can't believe you said that with the hard Z.
Yes, someone in the crowd that is also from his island is very offended. They stop running for their lives to look at Hans Mole Man on the ground grabbing his crotch, just to tut and go, for shame. On our island, we've moved past such vulgarities. You should be better, sir. And then they run out the emergency exit. And I think that's it. So Wave is inside the Tails doll monster is doing I will say a good job of actually making it coherent and getting rid of all that crap inside the programming that it doesn't need.
Let's throw my fate into the winds of the random number generator.
Always
50.
dangerous.
One of the main characters has to stop and do their taxes.
Yes!
Oh no! Not this again!
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
If you want
Could
to change
use one of your cards, or
I mean, I can't have it. It would be very funny if it happened to Eggman again. But he's already...
And equally funny that you were the one who did this again, because you made it work so well the first time.
Okay, fine, we'll make it work. So, while all of this is going on, Wave the Swallow now inhabits the gigantic malformed body of the Tails doll, no longer spilling out slurs, but some bloke down there said one. And if Wave the Swallow was from that island and knew that was one, she would probably be like, look, he said something bad. Look, pay attention to him instead. He's the one who did something wrong. But unfortunately, not familiar with the term Kerplutz, and its history of problematic issues in relation and everything that happened between the mole people and the
platypuses,
the platypus, the platypi. And if Dr. Starline were here, he'd very much tut.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, taxes.
If you're committed to this prompt, can I use my put this in and combine the taxes prompt with character from another Sega franchise appears?
Okay. How? Did you have something specific in mind, or do you just want me to go for and then...
Okay. Here's a real suggestion. You're at a technology conference. Maybe it's not as literal as, oh my goodness, the tax that. Maybe someone is there showing off their new accounting software for your small business. Okay, so Wave is inside the Tails doll doing coding. What if Wave manages to absorb this character's booth and the accounting software actually helps her get better control of this thing? And I don't know, Kiryu is also there. This is a side story where the person manning the booth has bad diarrhea from eating the convention center food. And he goes, hey man, come here. Yeah. And it's like, can you just watch this booth for 5 minutes? If anyone asks, just read from the, read from the pamphlet. Okay. Yeah, that's it.
So have fun with that, Chris.
You got this.
Just a suggestion.
I think we're onto something here. I do like the idea that there's some accountant bot out there, and Eggman looks at it, it's like, oh, it's not as good as my taxman bot from, from our previous fanfic.
Editor's note, see fanfic episode 1.
Yeah.
Little asterisk.
I'll put the little card in the corner of the episode.
But that's already been schlopped up automatically by the Tails doll, and Wave is like, oh, hang on, I can account for anything else that's going to happen by using this technology. But also she realizes, what the hell is going on with Eggman's taxes? This is like, for some reason his tax return and all of his accountants information is inside the Tails doll, because I guess it was slopping everything up while he was making it. And she, of
all
course,
this sensitive information.
And she is, of course, perfectly on top of her finances. She knows what she's doing. Like, say what you will about her, and people have been saying a lot about her up to this point, but she's in control of her financial situation.
You don't control a blimp that big without knowing your finance as well.
Right. Like, she wants to take control of this situation and deal with what's going on, as El Gran Gordo is there just being like, whoa, I did not plan for this. I'm getting out of here. And she's just like, well, okay, I need to get on with this, but for some reason, while I'm in this robot body, I feel compelled to take care of not just the tech, but also this thing in the corner over here. Oh god, we could get into trouble. And so, unfortunately, she's at odds with the fact that she's trying to take control, but also he's basically got, like, tech installed on here to take care of everything else that he needs to, because that's just the sort of thing Eggman would do. It's there to take care of everything. And unfortunately, it's not doing that. So she's like, right, okay, stopping this entirely. I need to take care of this because it's bothering me otherwise. I feel like... So she takes a moment to start filling out, like, the newest forms that she needs to do and everything, like, in the middle of all of this chaos that's... not that one.
Not that one.
Going on around her. So this is happening, and meanwhile, in the corner, for some reason, Kazuma Kiryu is here, because Jeremy said so. And he's like, so this is some kind... As he's taking care... As he's dealing with this sub-story guy who's got diarrhea and also it can't stop fapping to Rouge the Bat, like that one joke on Blue Sky I saw, which is very good. Has both of these problems at the same time. Kiryu's just like Naruhodo and like dealing with that. And also he just sees a gigantic eldritch robot monster made of plush with a vagina dentata going on, and he's not quite sure what to make of that, but he's just stares up into the sky and says, what has happened to my life, as he is tends to do. And while that's going on, but it's not actually doing anything right now because it's very occupied with taking care of the taxes for some reason. And meanwhile, Tony Monkey Khan is in the corner being like, taxes? What are those? And while this is going on, unfortunately, Nina, that's the sound of a siren of the tax office jumping into the scene. Even though there's people are spilling out of there and there's all sorts of things happening, they're also like, yeah, okay, everyone shut up. We are the tax office. We're the inland we're the what do we call it in the Sonic world? The something revenue, the
UFRS, United Federation Revenue Service.
There we go. They come in and are like, hang on. I know there's a giant monster over here, but someone has failed to file their taxes correctly, so we need to do something about that. Oh god, is it you? Sorry, sir. And she said they're regarding the giant monster. What's going on here? Why haven't you filled in your forms correctly? And Kazuma Kiryu's like, I don't know why I'm here. And then all of a sudden they realize, oh, wait a minute, it's not just this guy. And there's this mobster in the corner who's just like, I'm screwing over, I'm falsifying all my documents. And they're like, wait, you over there. And the mobster's like, oh no, they found me. And Kiryu like puts their hand in front of the taxman and is like, don't worry, I've got this. And steps over and is like, sir, what are you doing? And the mobster's like, tee, I'm screwing over the taxes. And Kiryu remembers his time as a real estate agent in the 80s and all the things that he had to do when he was like 20 years old and having to file a small business. He's like, I can't stand for this. And then a giant text that says asshole on it appears on the screen just while the fight is starting. So while the giant monster is currently taking care of its taxes, El Gran Gordo is sneaking away. Tony Monkey Khan is like largely nonplussed by this and probably snorting something. Kazuma Kiryu is getting in the middle of a battle with some random mobster who is not filing his taxes correctly because he thinks it's funny.
Yes.
And that's where I'm going to leave it as I hand it over to LittleKuriboh.
Excellent. I'm glad that I could collect all of these plates you're balancing.
Good luck.
Okay, so I have to roll a number 13, brand new super form.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
All right, well, Kiryu, as he's facing down this mobster guy, so the mobster guy was just falsifying documents, and Kiryu was like, I'm going to handle this. So Kiryu picks up his phone. It's a really old phone. I assume it's like a flip phone or something. And he texts pound mates, as he's known to do in his games, in order to summon people. I actually think this is specifically not Kiryu, but I mean, he's going to do it this time.
He does in Infinite Wealth.
Okay.
So it's fine.
Good. So much like in Infinite Wealth, which I haven't played, he is going to call pound mates, and weirdly enough, El Gran Gordo is one of the pound mates available. And so as El Gran Gordo is about to successfully get away, having not only put on a great, sexy, very erotic striptease for everybody, and, you know, basically perfectly nailed his presentation while not really talking about the thing that he was there to talk about. He's almost gotten away scot-free, and then all of a sudden he gets a call on his cell phone, and he's like, what is this, K? And he looks at it, and he's got a notification saying he's been summoned to a fight, and he just can't say no to that because he's subscribed to this pound mate service. So, you know, he's in for a penny, in for a pound, mates.
His agent said it would be a good deal.
Exactly. Tony Monkey Khan is there hyping him up. And so El Gran Gordo, just because it's part of who he is when he's got this outfit on, climbs to the highest point in the expo center and stands dramatically, and a spotlight appears on him, and he picks up a microphone, and he basically is like, El Gran Gordo's ready, and he does a flying elbow drop off of the highest point to land on the gangster, breaking several of his bones. But, you know, as El Gran Gordo is in mid-elbow drop, he transforms into macho El Gran Gordo, who is just much more extravagant and colorful with, like, ribbons, and he's basically
tassels
all over him. He's like the perfect icon of professional wrestling of both the 80s and the 90s, all the different cultures mixed together. He has become the top babyface version of himself, and he drops that elbow onto the criminal and turns around and clasps Kiryu in a dramatic, manly high five, and again steals all the attention from the very busy Eldritch Abomination attempting to do the taxes.
Some of the crowd that's fled is coming back in to see this new transformation.
It's very impressive. A lot of people.
Our sexual hero.
And I'm gonna add, by the way, that from Kamen Rider 01, Hedon Enterprises is there, and they're demoing the rider system, and Aruto Hedon himself, Kamen Rider 01, is also very impressed by this display of transformation and unnecessarily over-the-top fighting, and he gives a round of applause and says, there's only one guy who could have done that, and it's you, which is a variation on his catchphrase, which you wouldn't know if you hadn't watched the show. And I
would not have known.
That's where I'm going to pass it on.
All right.
Macho El Gran Gordo.
I like that. My prompt is number 25, which is an old one-off villain comes back. Okay, we can work with this.
Sonic has no shortage of one-off villains.
Yeah. Just to reestablish the scene, we've got I'm going to say Wave the just to get the character straight. I'm going to say Wave the Doll and Tails the Swallow. Just to get that right in my head. So
I imagine Tails the Swallow has been like randomly walking into a wall this whole time, just cursing up a storm.
So we have Tails the Swallow, just like trying to figure out things and probably saying slurs.
We have trying to get used to their new organic body.
Yeah. We have Wave the Doll finishing up some taxes so she can focus on control and figuring out the situation. We have El Gran Gordo, Macho El Gran Gordo, and was it Kiryu?
And Cosmic Kiryu.
Yeah, Kiryu doing like...
You'll get to know him eventually, Jake.
Will, yes.
We promise.
Doing the Ultimate Man like high five flex thing, like in the one Arnold Schwarzenegger clip.
Yes.
Oh yeah, the Predator handshake.
Yes.
You're also at a technology convention. Think about maybe some other inventors in Sonic's past. I mean, the one that immediately comes to my mind is, if you just want a quick introduction character, is Professor von Schlemmer. He might also be there.
He's not actually a villain, though, is he?
Well, I mean, if you want to bend the rules.
He's also a recurring character in Adventures of the Sonic the Hedgehog.
What does being a villain really mean? Are any of us free of fault?
I mean, it could be Robotnik just taking off his fucking El Gran Gordo disguise.
I like that too.
Famous one-time villain, Dr. Robotnik.
Oh, fuck this. Tony Monkey Khan says, hate to break it to you, El Gran Gordo, but because of our agreement, we technically own the character now, so... Oh, son of a bitch.
Okay. I've got something. I finally got something. Okay. As we finish up that grand display of incredible...
machismo,
street fighting, machismo, and street fighting and wrestling, all wrapped up into one. And as Wave the Doll is finally starting to wrap up the just horrible mishmash of taxes, we do have a spotlight, not a literal one, but camera-wise, on Tails the Swallow, as the being is getting used to its bird body, trying to walk around and also spouting slurs and gibberish. And from the shadows, we see Mammoth Mogul, because we needed another. We needed another evil.
Oh boy,
elephant in the story. So Mammoth Mogul comes from the shadows and sees this as an opportunity to have a new pawn of sorts. So he puts a hand on Tails the Swallow's. I'm going to keep saying that just to keep the character straight.
Yeah,
sure.
On Tails the Swallow's shoulder and says, you seem to be having trouble there. Let me see if I can help. And he extends his staff with the emerald attached to it and takes over and rewrites the mind of Tails the Swallow. So just to be clear, Tails doll their mind is still inside the body, but it's kind of like it's like looking out of a window of your body and not being able to control it.
Like being in a Megazord.
Horrifying.
Yeah. But more existentially horrible.
Also, in case Martin needs context, Mammoth Mogul is just Kingpin, but a mammoth wizard.
Ah.
And a little bit of Vandal Savage in there.
With all the chaos going around, Mammoth instructs Tails the Swallow to quickly go around to as many booths as it can, and like using photographic memory and note taking, take down as many notes as possible of each thing, because Mammoth's goal in all of this is to steal as many ideas as possible to corner several different markets with his own cheaply made inventions to gain even more fortune in his life. So
his own sovereign country is going to put out their own AI doll that undercuts Tony Monkey Khan's by like several $100 billion.
Yes.
Is Mammoth Mogul the Vince McMahon to Monkey Khan?
Oh my gosh.
Kinda.
Yes, if we're drawing comparisons, I would say yes.
Well, they're both pretty good at grandstanding and manipulation. So,
Yep, and Mammoth Mogul's been around longer and is arguably much more evil.
Vince McMahon does have a T-Rex skull in his office, or did. So
Jesus Christ.
so Tails the Swallow is quickly going from booth to booth with a notepad and pen, just copying down information as fast as it can, which, one of the benefits of being an AI is that it's able to, even if it's sloppy, able to take down notes very quickly and process these things very quickly. At the same time, Wave the doll has finally just finished the taxes and is using that accounting software that Tails doll initially absorbed during the transformation to create several organizations and folders and spreadsheets within its internal programming to finally organize all of these different disparate, crazy, nonsensical, like Jeremy said earlier, vibe coding bits and pieces to make something that can at least help Wave control this body and start to come up with a plan. So as this is all being organized, Wave is thinking to herself, well, the thing that got me into this mess in the first place was a surge of electricity. So if I recreate that as close as I can, then I could possibly switch back to my body and then just get the heck out of here. So at this point, backup generators have come on, the lights have flickered back on, and energy has been restored. So Wave the doll is using infrared scanning eyes in the Tails doll eldritch body to search through walls and concrete to find the location of the backup generator. After a few seconds of searching around, it spots it in the northwest corner of the room. And as gingerly as like a 50-foot tall beast can, it tries to get around these different booths. All the while, people are still, in fear, running around, screaming, and either running away or tossing things at it in fear and in frustration and anger. And luckily, it is able to gingerly sidestep Kiryu's booth so that...
Oh, he had a booth.
Well, he was watching the booth of the guy.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I forgot about that part.
I know, that poor guy doesn't know what's going on. He's fighting for his life in this bathroom stall.
For multiple reasons.
And as Wave the doll passes by without damaging the booth at all, Kiryu wipes some sweat off his brow and says, "Oh, thank goodness! I won't have to disappoint the poopy man." So imagine a scene where you have two camera feeds split down the middle. One is Tails the Swallow still dashing from booth to booth, writing down notes and stealing people's designs. Which, hey, AI, hey, there we go. There's the tie back in. And Wave the doll is finally closing in on the northwest corner of the room, and it begins to extend out one of the tendrils of its body to pierce the wall to get to the generator on the other side. And I'm going to hand it off from there.
Dramatic. I do appreciate that she took the time to finish the taxes before worrying about getting back to her own body.
Yes.
It's kind of like one of those things where you have all these different tasks going on and you finally come to the realization of okay, one at a time. This is really bothering me. I'm going to take care of that first. And then self-preservation.
I like giving that attribute to Wave. It makes her more interesting that she's would be that focused on, hold on, I can do this better. Let me handle this first.
And all the while she's like, maybe AI can be used for some good things. Maybe not much, but some good things.
43. Sudden deep cut character appearance to brag to the reader how much we know about Sonic.
Oh
my gosh. I mean, if anyone's going to get it, I'm glad you did.
Thank goodness.
I'm going to use a card because I haven't used one, and it would be wrong if LittleKuriboh showed up and didn't use any cards. So
that's good point. Good point.
I'm going to put this in and say romantic moment.
Ooh.
Now, I could see this being combined, but do you want that to overtake his prompt or just combine it with his prompt?
I'll combine.
Okay, cool. I was hoping.
A little both.
Or just have it as well as.
I might have an idea. Give me a moment to think this through. Yes. Okay. I think I have something.
Like
It's not that deep. It's not that deep a cut, but I think it serves the plot. As Wave the doll is reaching for this generator, unfortunately, she did not account for like how big her giant monster form has gotten, and just reaching out starts hitting against the structure of the convention center, and rubble starts to fall, blocking off her access to the generator. And it's like, oh shit. Now I can't actually reach the thing to get us electrocuted. I need to find something I can do to potentially like electrocute both me and this duplicate of me. What on earth am I going to do? And then she hears a distinct female voice kind of talking about, this place sucks anyway. I really should have stayed home playing more video games.
Oh my gosh.
By coincidence, Surge the Tenrek and Toonami are walking through looking to steal and or break. Wave happens to see Surge just like pointing and shorting out a random computer just for the heck of it. And she's like, I see an opportunity here. Well, her first play is to yell down at Surge and call her a kerplutz, but unfortunately, Surge has bad attitude enough that it does not faze her. So
she doesn't know what that means.
Surge has probably been on Twitch. She's heard it all before.
Unfazed.
Yeah.
Specifically on Hans Moleman's stream. Calling everyone a kaplutz.
She tries to take an alternate approach and starts like very awkwardly and not really knowing what she's doing, trying to hit on Kit. I think that like her trying to flirt with him mostly confuses him, but pisses her off because it's like, you're trying to take my best friend away from me. I'm hyper possessive. I'm not going to let that slide. And I think that she starts trying to zap Wave in this giant monster body. And Wave is basically trying to bait her towards Tails the Swallow as she's doing this to see if she can get them both at once and hope maybe even like get Kit to splash them so they're both soaked and more likely to conduct electricity and get themselves like their brains fried back into their original bodies.
More water.
If it worked the first time.
Man, what a Freaky Friday.
Is that where you're leaving it?
I think that's a good setup.
Okay. Because I've had an idea brewing that y'all have just been coincidentally headed towards. So, okay.
Interesting.
Let me roll. Hopefully it doesn't ruin my carefully laid plans. 16. A cool OC appears. Well, I already have Hans Mole Man.
Oh, we can use our OC.
Yeah, I was going to say Lumber's probably there showing something.
Oh,
the official Hills Always Greener mascot OC character, yeah.
Okay, I think I can work that in. Okay.
AI versus OC.
Begin!
The event of the century. So Wave, still in the body of the mutated Tails doll, has now realized that can't quite cause the quote-unquote power surge she's looking for on her own in this large, horrible body that she has gained control of, but it's just, it's still hard to move. If you've ever played the ending of that game Inside from the people that did Limbo, a little like that. And also the Tails doll in Wave's body is still being manipulated by mammoth mogul of all people, but just so happens to be in the same corner of the convention where the backup generator it's connected to the power grid and whatnot is. So, and of course, I'm picturing as, like you said, she was awkwardly trying to beckon Kitsunami over there, that it's some version of Wave's voice, but also just coming out horribly robot distorted, you know.
Hey, babe, how do you feel about 50-foot beasts?
Coming out of the giant other mouth.
Do you come here often?
I do want to say that Kit is confused, embarrassed, and maybe something deep down inside him is awakening that he won't fully deal with until he's well into adulthood. So that's where they are. So Surge doesn't quite understand everything that's going on, except that she understands that she doesn't like what's going on. So she starts marching towards the enormous beast with Kitsunami in tow, saying things like, "Hey, what are you saying to my little pal over here, you weirdo? You want to mess with somebody, you mess with me." And she kind of starts bristling with static electricity, you know, all of her various her jewelry and piercings kind of start arcing sparks. Wave, giant monster Wave doll, Tails Wave. Sorry, I'm getting them confused.
The big one.
Yes, the big one notices that in response to this, like the lights in just that corner where the backup generator is start softly glowing, like they're reacting to this Surge's magical electricity powers. So she keeps it up. Instead of lightly hitting on the characters, she switches it up and starts insulting them directly, saying things like, "Oh, I just thought, a couple of dummies like you, what are a couple dummies like you doing in here? This is for people who actually make the world a better place with their technology." And again, Surge doesn't really understand what this giant monster's getting at, but it's just pissing her off.
All right, I want to buzz in here real quick because I want to use my "It's on You" card.
Oh, you go right ahead.
All right, and for a solid minute and a half, I want to put it on Chris to come up with the various mean things that Surge would say in response to this. So let me get a stop
to this monster insulting her and
yes.
Kit.
So this is on Chris, and then when it's done, we can go back to Jeremy for him to finish his segment. So,
okay.
Right, so starting,
it gives me time to think too.
So for a solid minute and a half, and I'll start the timer in 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so Wave the Swallow is doing the best they can to. Wave the Doll is doing the best they can to gain the ire of Surge the Tenric, and is like, "Hey, Surge the Tenric, more like Surge the bitch." And Surge is like, and Kit's just like, "Oh, there's no way that's going to bother her. That's the worst thing." And Surge is pissed. It's like, how flippin' dead. I mean, she doesn't. She's now more slurs are swinging out of the place. She calls her a giant kaplutz, the biggest kaplutz she's ever seen. She just learned the word kaplutz today, and she's getting a lot of mileage out of it. And yes, the electricity is flying, in both figuratively and literally. And she's like, "Well, okay, giant abomination." That's another word I learned today. It's got more syllables than I'm used to, but whatever. And she's real pissed. Sorry, this is harder than I thought. And Waves the Swallow is like, yeah, carry on. Try and come up with something better than that. Come on, what's the matter with you? And she's currently activating her insult algorithm. That's also something that's been placed in there. And she's like, yeah. You're gonna do something about it? I'll kill you in Minecraft. And Kit's like, that doesn't even make sense. But Surge is like, "Oh, in Minecraft, will you? No, I kill people in Minecraft. That's the thing I do. on my streams. And and for some reason this is really upsetting her. So it's been getting more and more out of the, so the electricity is surging further and further, as one might expect from that character. And for the final blow, Wave the doll is like, oh, and by the way, you're green. And Surge's like, yeah, I am. With envy for Sonic!
Whoa.
And Surge is like, that's really hurtful.
Oh no, my trauma.
And the electricity starts to die down, and she's like, no, wait, and you suck. And then she gets mad again, and that's about it.
Yeah. All right.
And so with that final blow to her fragile little ego, Surge explodes with power and throws her hands forward, sending a mighty energy bolt at the monstrosity that Wave's mind is trapped in. But at the same second, Wave, using her newfound gained control over this body, whips out some of her spiked tentacles, and just as the Tails doll in her organic body is stealing some patent for some kind of weird bladeless fan that doesn't really work any better than a regular fan, but it looks cool, so people pay $800 for it. The tentacle grabs the Tails doll in Wave's body, and another tentacle buries itself into the backup generator of this convention center that is connected to the power grid, and the entire thing just goes up like Christmas. Blinding lights. Anyone that's still left of the convention center has to cover their eyes. Mammoth Mogul doesn't close his eyes in time, and so it burns his eyeballs out of his head, and he's like, I'm defeated. I'm going to go away because I'm technically owned by another artist, and Sega isn't allowed to use me anymore. So he runs blind, crying.
But then he says, no, I'm not owned, actually. I'm not owned.
Yeah, please don't put it in the newspaper that I'm owned.
And then he gets kicked in the nuts.
As is the tradition.
Slowly transforms into a corn cob. The blinding lights die down, and the settles back down to the regular amount of lights you're supposed to have in that building. Jesus, sorry.
The government standard amount of lights.
Yeah, the tax guys are still there, and he's got a lumen measuring thing, and he's like, nope, yep, just like regulation.
I'm glad I specialized in this.
People start to look around and see, but people are looking around and the destruction, but everything's suddenly quieter, and the giant beast is nowhere to be found. Instead, lying in its place is the lifeless Tails AI doll, just sprawled out in its original form, and falling from the ceiling where they were being held up by a tentacle and landing in the cool 3-point pose like a badass is Wave back in her body. And I guess that's where I'll pass it off.
Okay.
I don't want to go too far into this here, but that was my big idea. I guess the only idea I wanted to throw out there is like the thing Wave would try and say to get everyone on her side was that while she was swapping their bodies back, is she also improved the city's power grid to be like 40% more efficient.
Well, she did that, but nobody noticed. So.
Yes, and see that was, and then I thought like it's like aren't you the lady that said all those words and tried to kill Tails? And she would say something like, oh, that little everyone gets madder. But no, that was just an idea to throw
idle
out there.
musings.
Probably
Gran Gordo was like, you may have improved electricity efficiency, but I'm the most electrifying man in sports entertainment.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Gran Gordo.
37.
In a red?
massively expanding upon a canon plot point.
Hey, there you go.
Where
From
was
any
this?
point in the Sonic franchise.
Okay. Oh, that's within the whole franchise. Okay. Well, I've got a few ideas in mind. So that's going to be part of this because unfortunately I've inherited many plates once again. But that's fine because Wave the Swallow has returned to her body and everything seems perfectly fine, except unfortunately for Wave the Swallow, one of the things that got also fried by the electricity and maybe got involved in the body swap process that she was assuming would go as smoothly as one would expect for a plot point that we really needed to wrap up at this point. One of the machines that was being made, that was being exhibited at this expo, was a poorly performing portal machine that would allow characters from other aspects of the Sonic franchise to interfere. Unfortunately, of course, it's not very good. The only thing they could do was make Mickey the Hedgehog from the Sonic Korokoro manga show up. And he's just like, well, I don't want to be anything like that. I'm just a little boy. I'm just a little birthday boy, so he left. But during the surge of electricity, this was activated and went into hyper overdrive. And the electricity, because I know science, somehow affected also Wave the Swallow while she was transforming back. So, on one hand, Wave the Swallow has taken on human elements, unfortunately, much upsetting many people because now she looks very human, and in fact is wearing a bowling outfit and has unfortunately regenerated as a Wave Whipple.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
It finally settles. And as the lights have returned to normal, but some of them are on fire, and she's like, "The flames of disaster!" Why did I say that?
Oh,
thank you.
Unfortunately, also during the process, the Tails doll is a lifeless form, but comes back to life, floats up in that weird, unsettling way that it does in Sonic R. And is like, I've got a voice now, and I'm really upset about everything that happened here, because, you see, I don't really understand, from a canon's perspective, why the bird character I just was has breasts. It doesn't make sense because she's not mammalian. And I have my own theories about this, and I feel like maybe it's related to the ancient Jungian concept of the mother, but I don't think we really have time to... No, we do have time to elaborate this. So basically, and he starts bringing up a whiteboard and starts really getting into it. So Wave has returned, but she's played by Adam Pally now. And she's like, I really feel like advertising for Jimmy John's. That's cool. And everyone's like, haha, I remember that guy from Sonic the movie. And he's like, yeah, you know it. It's very confusing because they are two characters at once, and it's not really perfectly elaborated on. But the Tails doll is like, actually, I think I can explain this. If you think about, when the human characters were in the Sonic franchise, oh, wow, I'm aware it's a franchise now. I'm seeing beyond the veil of reality. So he's expanding upon Sonic's canon as other people are confused. El Gran Gordo is just like, well, that's great for you, Wave. I'm really happy for you that you've that people are going to remember you now for memes and not just for your horrible, problematic behavior in the past and trying to kill a child, everyone. Anyway.
Before the comments get at us, yes, we know it was technically Sonic's board that she sabotaged, but
that's not as funny.
But Tails built it, and also it's funnier this way. So don't leave comments.
It's funnier this way. In our canon, the version of our universe, it was Tails that she tried to murder.
In the
not
universe
Sonic the
where
Hedgehog.
El Gran Gordo has a sponsorship from Tony Khan, that's what happened.
Yeah. And speaking of Tony Khan, he's just watched his rival get out of here and escape, and he's just like, you're like the Harvey Weinstein of
that's right.
Whereas I'm like the Pepsi. And then he's like, well, this is El Gran Gordo, we better get out of here because this has been a huge disaster. And personally, I need to go back to managing my football team, the Jungle Zone Jaguars. and another monkey shows up in the corner called Jason Mandrilza, and he's like, Jaguars rule! Anyway. And all this time, while an Eggman, El Gran Gordo, is like, he's like, yeah, I'm personally done with this now. I don't think we can salvage this this robot here because it's just out here like explaining Sonic canon and nobody's interested in that. And it's just like, and in this video essay for the next 8 hours, I'm going to elaborate on why why Sonic Unleashed is actually the best game. He says, all right, come on, and Sonic 06 was good actually. He's like, all right. And while this is going on, sorry, there's a lot to handle here. Kazuma Kiryu is also still here, but I think his sub-story's ended, so he's just gone off to do something.
The poopy man finally came back.
I'm not sure what else there is to wrap up at this point now I think about it. What else was happening? Oh, and Surge... Oh, you know what? Just to finish things off, Surge jumps down and is like, I was really upset about that Wave Whipple, what you said before. Wait, you were actually a giant... Actually, I don't quite know what's going on. And Tailsdoor's like, well, I can explain it to you if you really want to know.
And Surge
and that's about all I've got now. I'm not sure how to give this to Martin to finish this off, but here you go, Martin.
Oh, you're fine. I can probably figure it out. 41, Heroic Sacrifice.
Oh,
here we go.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay. Well, the Tails bot, and by the way, it took me a minute to realize that the Tails bot was the one sort of expanding upon the important Sonic lore. I thought Wave Whipple was the important Sonic plot.
No.
The Tails bot is getting so invested in explaining Sonic lore and explaining the hierarchy of the quality of the Sonic franchise and where everything went wrong and where everything went right and how the movies have gotten everything exactly correct. But Tails becomes so consumed by the various Wikipedia articles that both elaborate and also contradict one another that he experiences the singularity and becomes Singularitails.
my God.
And as a result starts to go into some sort of evolutionary supernova. Like, he's clearly going to explode with all of the information from all of Sonic across the known worlds, and it's just too much for one universe to contain. So Singularitails is about to just blow up and take reality as we know it with it. And Wave Whipple looks at this and realizes that there's only one way to make up for almost blowing up Tails, which is definitely what happened when we've established. And Wave Whipple looks toward all of Wave Whipple's friends with a tear in Wave Whipple's eyes and says, I've got this. This is what I was meant to do. And dives onto the Singularitails. And having consumed the ability to, I guess from the portal technology, transfer themselves between universes, transports the Singularitails to a reality that is already dead, that has already been consumed by Sonic lore, and allows the Singularitails to explode harmlessly and remove a world that has already died. But unfortunately, that means Wave is gone as well. Meanwhile, the guy who fucking hated his ex looks at the ensuing carnage that has followed the bizarre body swap story that took place at this Invention Expo and counts his lucky stars and gets the bus home, and he's sitting by himself thinking, I really shouldn't have broken up with my wife. I think that was a bad idea. I think that we could have figured things out. We could have really we could have worked on this. There's no magic button that I could press to make things up to her. But you know what? I do remember that the reason we got together, the reason we fell in love, which was when the last time I felt happiness, was because I tried painting. And in defiance of the AI schlorp that he was about ready to sign up for and consume, he sets up an easel, and regardless of whether his wife, his ex, will take him back, he starts painting, and it takes him months, but he ends up painting the most beautiful portrayal of the Mona Lisa, but it's El Gran Gordo as the Mona Lisa, looking astounding and giving a little cute smile. And he feels good about himself for the first time in a long time. And he didn't have to use AI. And that's the end.
Yay!
That's beautiful. Yay!
Hooray!
There is a happy ending.
I'm also realizing I forgot to incorporate the OC from the one prompt I had. Oops.
It's fine. It's fine. Lumber the Tygon was just hanging out.
We never did name him.
Yes, thank you. That was the OC that came in. The guy who was bitterly divorced and yet learned to be a better person.
We'll fix it in post somehow.
Yes, we'll fix it in post somehow.
I think that's a fic.
I think we got there.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. That was really
very
good. And very fun.
I didn't know any of those characters.
You handled it extremely
It's
well.
remarkable. We're like, oh, you're sure you're going to get some of these, Martin, and then we just roll all these characters.
I knew Robotnik, but it was a version of Robotnik that I did not know.
Yeah,
but which your life is now further enriched for now knowing.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was worried at the beginning. I was like, Wave and Tails doll. All right, what are we gonna do with that? But we worked it.
AI couldn't have created this.
Heck no.
I like how you left off which dead Sonic universe got destroyed, so we can just say it's whatever one the reader liked the best.
Secretly, it was our
so
universe that has been destroyed by Sonic lore. That's my head.
There you go.
Yeah, checks out.
I'm gonna say it was the multiverse Sonic Prime thing right before the ending of the show.
Oh my god. Yeah, save us all some trouble there.
This is why Cowboy World doesn't exist.
Ugh.
We'll never see Cowboy Maria Robotnik say adios, Shadow the Hedgehog.
Adios, Hedgehog.
So I do have the full summary here if you would like me to recount all this madness.
Absolutely.
Cue the music.
So, Wave and Eggman, disguised as El Gran Gordo by request of his corporate sponsors, are at a tech expo. Wave is promoting a new advanced extreme gear that's faster and eco-friendly, and El Gran Gordo is presenting Tails doll as a marketable plushie AI. Tails doll creates a terrible AI picture of the Mona Lisa, the octopus. Everybody loves the AI schlorp while Wave is pissed and people are mad that she strapped a bomb to Tails' board, which is a thing that totally happened. One of Wave's newest gears is the Cloud Gear from Riders 1, and since no one seems to be interested in testing their pure hardness by trying to ride it, she sends it over to Gordo's booth to interfere with the Tails doll. As the Cloud approaches the booth and it starts building up static electricity, it grows darker and starts generating a storm. Tails doll starts glitching and spitting out error messages. Just as Wave thinks things are going well, the Cloud erupts into a thunderstorm, soaking El Gran Gordo, making him more attractive as he tastefully removes part of his clothing. The crowd loves it to Wave's shock. Gordo starts quoting Unknown from ME, showboating for the crowd, and really getting into it, but kind of forgetting why he was there in the first place. Tails doll starts to generate a little bit of envy and spite in his circuits. Gordo's corporate sponsor, Tony Khan the monkey, is insistent he get back on track, but Gordo can't stop showboating. Tony Khan complains that the whole thing is worse than the time they tried to market Puyo Puyo using his likeness. Gordo, however, is cutting a Rick Rude-style promo, mocking other game villains that aren't as sexy and promoting his body instead of his body of work. Tails doll starts generating hatred and is compelled to stand up to him. Tails doll's Jewel starts beeping as it uses the public Wi-Fi to link to all the other tech, downloading their code and schematics and amalgamating them into himself. Finally, it starts absorbing the material around it and grows into a horrific bad AI Eldritch abomination with a ton of weapons. Gordo doesn't notice until it's too late. Tails doll, being an AI, starts spewing slurs everywhere. Wave tries to hack it to get her prototype back, but the doll hits a power generator and they're both hit with a surge of electricity that swaps their brains over the network. Now she has to deal with people running away from or trying to stop her, shutting down Tails doll to get her prototype back, and her body being controlled by a slur-spewing AI. Waves tries to interface with the neural network in the creature, quieting her mind to try and rewrite and repair the code to remove all the LLMs and make it obey her. Hans the Mole tries to use a laser rifle to destroy the monster, but it bounces off and hits him in the nuts. Oh, Kerplutz. You can't say that! Realizing the monster absorbed another booth's tax software, Wave discovers a lot of information about Eggman's finances and a bunch of tech he designed to take care of things for him, and works to fix things so she can get back to recoding the Tails doll. Gordo tries to sneak away, and Khan is true drug up to care. Also, Kiryu is there watching a booth for a guy who has to take a shit and has no idea what to make of things. Reps from the UFRS arrive, declaring someone has failed to file their taxes properly, and Kiryu beats up a crooked elephant who they accuse of committing tax fraud. Kiryu calls Pound Mace to summon Gordo before he can get away. Gordo climbs to the highest point and does a flying Gordito smasher, transforming into Macho El Gran Gordo mid-fall as he comes crashing down on this mobster. The crowd is suddenly awed all over again, distracted from the monster. Also, Hedon Enterprises is there and Arto Hedon applause.
Yep.
Wave is almost to the taxes, but Tails and Wave's body is stumbling around and runs into Mammoth Mogul, who rewrites their mind to put them under his control. Mogul orders Tails the Swallow to take as many notes and information on the exhibits as possible so he can steal the ideas and use them in his own industries to undercut Khan. Wave finally finishes and uses the tax software to organize all the disparate elements of this monster's code. Backup generators have come back online, so she uses infrared eyes to find the backup and begins trying to move towards it while people run or throw things at her, thankfully avoiding Kiryu and the Poopy Man stall. Wave passes Tails the Swallow and attempts to reach for the generator, but unfortunately rubble blocks the way, but she discovers Surge and Kit are there just causing vandalism. Since Surge doesn't respond to slurs, she starts trying to awkwardly hit on Kit, drawing his confusion and the possessive Surge's ire. As Tails the Swallow is approaching, Surge starts marching up to them all pissed. Wave changes tactics to insulting them instead, which heightens things. Claiming she's jealous of Sonic temporarily makes her sad, but getting mad again with "you suck." Surge finally has enough and shocks Wave, who uses a tentacle to grab Tails the Swallow and expose a bit of the generator. The whole place lights up and Mammoth Mogul gets blinded and runs away. When the light fades, Tails' doll is back to normal and Wave does a sick 3-point landing. She also improved the efficiency of the city power grid, but no one noticed and are still impressed by Gordo. Unfortunately, one of the exhibits, a portal machine, was activated and went into overdrive. As a result, Wave has been transformed into Wave Whipple. Also, Tails' doll floats back to life and now starts talking and complaining about canon. Khan tries to make his exit to wash his hands of the whole thing, and Gordo decides there's no salvaging the Tails doll project. Kiryu wandered off because the sub-story was over. Surge is just confused by all of it. Tails doll is getting so invested in explaining and looking up information, he becomes Singulara Tails and is about to go supernova and destroy reality. Wave Whipple sacrifices himself by transferring Singulara Tails to an already dead universe. The guy who hated his ex takes a bus home and muses about how he fell in love with his wife and starts painting El Gran Gordo as the Mona Lisa, feeling self-fulfilled for the first time in years. The end.
Oh.
All in all, one of the less ridiculous Yakuza sub-stories.
You're not even wrong.
And the moral of the story is don't use AI and don't use public Wi-Fi.
You don't know which network that is.
Oh, that was... This might be my favorite one yet.
Maybe. Yeah.
I like that the three stories so far have had like kind of different genres. Like the first one was just kind of a silly action one. The second one was more of a mystery, and this one's like an action horror thriller.
A little bit.
With a very sexy interlude at the beginning.
Yeah, I like that.
Amazing.
Such is the nature of fan fiction.
And Gran Gordo.
Yeah.
That's true.
God, thank you for joining us on this one, Mark.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I had a lot of fun. I'm very curious to learn about these characters, even though I'm not necessarily super familiar with with Wave or with the Tails doll. But I'm mostly all about Macho El Gran Gordo now. I think
Hell yeah, you
El
are.
Gran Gordo, yeah. I really enjoyed when Mammoth Mogul was blinded and like Tony Monkey Khan basically just was like, that guy.
It's all he deserves.
That guy. We did forget in the outline the part where Mammoth Mogul just randomly gets kicked in the nuts.
It's assumed. It's assumed.
Yeah, it's part of his character.
Yes. Well, maybe he ran into like a bollard when he made it outside. You couldn't see it, and just right at crotch level. And Hans Mole Man laughed at him.
Is Humpty Dumpty the champion of all egg wrestling, Valera?
I'm going to say was, but he fell
Yeah, he
off.
fell down, yeah.
But
Yeah.
Acknowledge me.
All right, we got to get out of here.
Yeah.
So that was a wild time. Thank you so much, everybody, for taking the time to listen to this, especially for one of these episodes that we genuinely love so much, because it lets us flex our creative muscles and also be extremely silly, which is one of the best parts about doing this podcast.
Amen.
You can find Sonic F on the socials at Sonic F Series. You can find me across the internet as Rock the Jake, and you can find me on twitch.tv as Mr. Rock the Jake.
You can find me in all sorts of places at Cyberlink420.
You can find me on Blue Sky as jeremybaker.actor and around the rest of the internet as Game Buddy, sometimes with a 123.
And you can find me all across the internet at Faulero. That's FAULERRO.
Love that jingle.
And you can find me, LittleKuriboh, in most places as LittleKuriboh, although on Twitch I am LittleKuriboh VS because somebody took LittleKuriboh. And I guess the VS is an encouragement to fight me.
I mean, if you're inviting it.
I like it.
Yeah.
Special thanks, as always, to Amy Waters for the use of our theme song from the album Gotta Go Slow. You can check out more of her work on YouTube and Bandcamp, and she's also available on the socials at Amy Waters. And especially if it's a Bandcamp Friday at this point, please go buy some of her music because all the proceeds go to her, and that would be awesome. Support artists, not AI. Schlop.
Yep. Schlurp.
Schlorp.
Schlurp. Yes, Schlorp. And please remember to subscribe, review, share, and all that good stuff. And, please let us know if you enjoyed this particular fanfic episode, because this was a very, very fun one to do. And you know what? Okay, here's the audience call out. You've heard some of the prompts that we've done on these episodes so far. Write in the comments a prompt that you want us to try to use in a later episode. Please give us either the most serious or the most stupid ones you can come up with, and we will try to incorporate them with random generator rolls.
Here's my audience call out. You're all a bunch of kaplutzes.
Oh, no, you can't say that.
We're going to get canceled.
You can't say that.
Birds.
Breakfast.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Did a halfway recognizable Tyrannosaurus Alan impression there.
Oh, man. I love that commercial. For our next episode, we're going to revisit some of the Sonic 8-bit games and then talk about a couple that we haven't talked about yet. So 1 and 2 and Chaos and Triple Trouble and all that. And it's going to be a really fun time to get back to some of those old school games on the Game Gear, the only portable system that you have.
We're talking about the Master System versions because they're the better versions of those
Master
particular
System,
games.
Yeah, we basically did these episodes, did the first one of the 8-bit games back when we had much shorter episodes, and we were like, let's give them another go, and maybe devote some more time to them, especially considering that I think most of us did not have access to the Master System versions, just Game Gear. So we're like, let's play those fan remakes instead, which, while amazing, are, a very different thing. So I think it's fair that we give them the fair shake on the Master System.
Yeah, now we've learned to never shut up. We've to finally give them the time they deserve.
And thank you for correcting me. Not Game Gear, Master System.
I mean, we'll acknowledge them.
They're technically on both.
Aha. But again, thank you for listening. I have been today one of your story writers, Rock the Jake.
I'm Cyberlink.
I'm Game Buddy.
I'm Faulero.
I'm Littlekuriboh. Oh yeah, I liked him. He smelled nice.
I like to think so.
It's up to you, listener, to decide who smelled nice in this story.
And who didn't.
This has been The Hill is Always Greener, and we'll see you on the other side.
My favorite, cats. If you want to stay gun, get jungle scum. If you
slam dunk like Robin, son. If you want to bring down the best in the world, or hit your lift on a pterodactyl. If you want to smash crash in monster hell, or fry the demons with electric spells. If you want to be a Sega nut, get yourself a